that meets every week on Wednesday, and we meet up to discuss just different topics of related to health. We do three things. We want to educate, give information. The other thing we want to do is we want to empower. So we won't just give you information, we'll actually give you solutions as well. Lifestyle change, food, supplements, nutrition, different guidance so that we all can take some action. And then the last thing that we do, the last E, is to encourage. And we hope that as you spend time with us, all of us, will kind of travel together on this journey of being healthy. And you heard what Dr. Aisha just said, right, about COVID, right? They say the best immunity now is our own immunity. So we all do need to keep up to optimal health. So today we have a very interesting topic on detox. And I was just telling Faisal that detox is such a fad out there, right? Everybody talks about it, from pumping coffee into your system to juicing, and to, I don't know, all sorts of weird and wonderful things. Everybody's talking about detox, and I'm really interested to hear Faisal's take on detox. What he understands detox to be, why we need to do it if we do, and what can we do that's safe for us. And I understand what he's going to do is also to mention some of the fads out there and what we need to be watchful for. So many of you already, Faisal is no stranger to us. He is a wellness coach. He and his wife are real advocates for plant-based eating. Even their kids, 3 young kids, my heroes lah. Wow, they all eat only, they've mainly only eaten vegetables all of their life, most of their lives. And I find it really fascinating that they can name every kind of vegetable there is. Faisal and Aina, they walk the talk, as it were, of health. And they've seen also family members and friends, kind of being nursed to health as a result of, following their kind of way of living. So Faisal is one of my favorite speakers because he's controversial. I mean, not controversial in a bad way, but he always provokes me to think about health and about food differently. And I'm always challenged by what he has to say. So I'm going to just hand this over to Faisal. Over to you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you very much again, once again, Terry, and thank you to Health101 for providing this platform. I really love the community, and hopefully this can be beneficial for everyone. And if this is your first time here, welcome, one and all. And do come in every time we have this. I think we have it every other week nowadays. And do get in touch with the friend that brought you here so that you can get more information. So I'm just going to be putting up my slides. Hope you can see this here. Oops. Sorry, let me just get that away. Okay. All right, so hopefully you have eaten something for lunch. If not, no worries. It won't be too gruesome, but definitely we will be touching on a few things, especially what is happening on our plates on a daily basis. All right, so detox, yeah. So is it a fad or something fabulous for us? All right, so that's, I guess, some way that I want to put it, and to be wary of, and hopefully something that I'll be sharing today based on our experiences and what we've me and my wife especially, we've been picking up through a lot of scientific literature as well, through a lot of well-known doctors around the world, through the latest studies and so forth. So we'll be touching a little bit of those as well. So first and foremost, let's answer the question, what does detox mean? All right, so the long word, okay, the sexy word is detox, but it actually stands for detoxification, which is the process of removing toxins from the body. Okay, so basically removing toxic substances from the body, be it heavy metals or maybe pesticides and other chemicals that are not naturally found in natural foods that we eat, or other sources of toxins. All right, so we'll go into that a little bit further, but just remember this, and that is basically a process of removing bad stuff from the body. Okay, so that's the whole idea of detoxification. All right, and these toxins are everywhere. All right, so as I mentioned, it can be from foods, it can be from pesticides, can be from stuff that we normally use on a day-to-day basis as well. All right, like tin cans, aluminum cans, and so forth. I'm sure everyone heard of something like aluminum leaching, or even plastic bottles, right? I'm sure you've heard of microplastics as well. So those are unnatural forms of things that should not be in our body, all right? And they are made from mostly either heavy metals, or they are from oil, petrol-based compounds, right? So plastic is actually derived from oil and gas, right? So it is not your typical food, but it is present in our food system, depending on the kind of containers or food products that you buy. All right. So and other things that can be toxic to you could be like the fumes, gas fumes, and so forth from gas, even at the petrol station, from lead. All right. Even of course, everyone knows about secondhand smoking. If you don't smoke yourself, even secondhand smoking is as dangerous as firsthand smoking, and other fumes that's out there. Pollution, of course, a lot of us are in Klang Valley, or if you are in any populated area, then definitely you're exposed to all these pollutants as well, from exhaust, from factories, and so forth, right? And from seafood, a lot of seafood nowadays are loaded also with heavy metals, especially mercury. And so, and as you eat the bigger fish, what happens is it's accumulated, bioaccumulated through the food chain, and so there's higher levels of toxicity when you go up the food chain. Even paints nowadays, that's why you see a lot of advertisements. If you're renovating a house, there's non-lead paint, right? Because it was a thing before, because the lead actually makes it a lot shinier, I think, glossier, and that texture kind of thing. And there's a lot of other pollutants out there, a lot of toxins that directly or indirectly we would be putting into our bodies. Okay, and so how does it go into the bodies? Well, these pollutants or toxins are actually not just ingested through our mouths, but they can also come in through our lungs, our breathing system, right? We inhale air, oxygen, and all that, but it also comes in with the fumes. It's also can be by skin contact, all right? And what happens is all these toxins in the body, through the bloodstream and so forth, they then get processed, all right? So through what we call the detox center. So in our body, there's actually, God made it in such a way that the most important organ to eliminate all these toxins is none other than our liver. All right. So as you can see here, so the liver, actually there's two parts to it. I won't go into the details. I'm not a medical doctor either, so I won't go into the nitty-gritty details. So I guess you can read up on this. But basically, the toxins are kind of like processed, and to be able to conduct these processes, they need some particular nutrients. So for example here, the first phase requires some enzymes and some B vitamins, some A, C, D, E, and some bioflavonoids and methylcell to actually enable this process of detoxification to behave appropriately. All right, and then there's another level of detoxification or conjugation that's called here, and it needs some other essential amino acids. These are glutamine, glycine, taurine. All these are essential amino acids, and the likes of garlic, cabbage, broccoli, kale, and all this are all good stuff to enable this part of the detoxification phase. And therefore, after detoxifying and all that, processing all these toxins, it will go out of our body system, and we need this regular expunging system to work properly. And that's where the gallbladder, which produces the bile, and therefore it excreted into the intestinal system. So it goes through all the small intestines and then through a large intestine. Eventually it becomes what you know as POOP, or feces, right? So that's what you do on a daily basis. Hopefully you're doing it daily, if not more than once in a day. All right. If you're not doing it daily yet, so it's something maybe that you can work on. All right. And of course, the other form of the excretion is through the kidneys, which kidneys also do some processing as well. And eventually it turns into urine. So we do also excrete that regularly. And very important is that we hydrate ourselves so that we can actually excrete it properly through our urinal systems, right? And maybe another form of waste that's not shown here in this diagram is through sweat. Actually, sweat also helps to excrete toxins from our body, and the more that we sweat, we can actually get up some of these heavy metals and so forth through the sweat in our body. All right, so that's another form of way that our bodily system and bodily fluids regulate itself and kind of like cleanse itself. So God made our body to work very perfectly. All right, and but we only have this one body, right? And unlike when we, so like if you imagine if you buy or own a car, right? You own a vehicle, do you just buy it and forget about it and just use it nonstop, thousands and thousands of kilometers and never do anything about it? Or do you actually service the vehicle, right? So I think nowadays it's common sense that to make sure the car or automobile is performing optimally, you need to service the vehicle regularly. So it just makes sense that if you're given this one super awesome body of ours, right? It makes sense that we also need to maintain our body properly. All right, and how do we do that? We need to make sure all our organs and health bodily functions are properly functioning with the right nutrients. All right. Okay, so these are other organs that works in terms of detoxing. All right, so as I mentioned just now, the liver is very important, especially because it also processes the fats. It produces the cholesterol that is needed in our body. All right, and so there are things that we do need to do to ensure that the liver stays young and healthy, especially avoiding alcohol. We don't want excessive fat because fatty liver, I'm sure everyone's heard of fatty liver. That's something bad that can actually impede the function of the liver organ. Okay, we'll go on a little bit more later on. Kidney is also very important, and so this is where sodium limitation, reducing your salt intake and so forth is very important, because too much sodium also would interfere with the kidney function. All right, and junk food and all that, you don't want that to be present in the body, and all these drugs and chemicals and all that, right? So what happens when we consume all these ubat lah, pharmaceutical drugs and so forth? They need to be processed inside the liver as well, and some of it also processed in the kidneys before it's excreted, right? So we are actually stressing these organs even more. You were giving it like more work than it needs to do lah. Okay, if we didn't ingest it in the first place, then it doesn't need to do much work. But of course, if you're going through medical problems and you need to take those medicines, please, by all means, please do still take them. But we need to take care of these organs as well, so that they can continue to function properly. All right, and we'll touch a little bit later about the digestive system. And I believe everyone, if especially if those who have been following the Health 101, we talk about this digestive system very much, and something that has been there's a lot of research and more studies and more scientific evidence nowadays coming up in kind of like the other organ in our body called the gut microbiome. Okay, so because inside our body, not only are we made up of cells, but we have trillions, if not trillions more of these good and colonies of bacteria in our body. Okay, so this is not the invader viruses that we had over the past couple of years, but these are natural bacteria that's present in our body. But we need to be able to balance because there's also bad bacteria, but we need to overflow it with more of the good bacteria. And I was also surprised to find recently I've been going through some recent findings, and they also found that even in our brain has these bacteria living in our body, right? But they're there for a good reason. Okay, they're not just there to invade us and try to do bad things, but they're there naturally. Okay, so and of course, as I mentioned, sweat is very important, and so our skin, and the health of our skin is very important. And so that's why we need to shower ourselves, especially in Malaysia, where we sweat a lot. So we need to be able to clear off all the pores so that they're not clogged and all that, and so that our normal bodily function of excreting waste from our skin and through our sweat is done properly as well. And of course, taking care of our lungs, making sure that we are treating it well, we are filtering the air around us, and making sure that our environment is pollutant free is also very important as well. Okay, so yeah, I mean, like when we talk about the liver, fatty liver is something that you don't want. All right, although our liver does process the fats there, but excessive fat, when there's too much of it, and it's like it becomes clogged lah. It's like if you have your engine oil, right, and your engine oil lama-lama dia jadi hitam kan, is that if it all becomes so viscous, so black, so then it becomes very inefficient. All right, it becomes sluggish and your engine won't function properly anymore, and so your fuel also doesn't burn up as easily. So similarly, like our liver in our body, if there's too much fat in the liver, and then there's too much, basically the liver is now overworked. All right, it's like it's working overtime day and night, 24 hours a day, with no rest, no vacation, right? So you're going to be over stressing it, and then it won't function as well, and then there's going to be a lot of other complications. So that's the problem. So with our gut, however, as to make sure that our gut and gut microbiome is in the healthiest state as possible, because a good gut will ensure that anything that goes into our body and being processed, of course, the good nutrients are absorbed in the intestinal tract, but as well, we want to excrete the other stuff and the waste, okay? And that's why it's very important that we have a good microbiome. And to do that, we need the good prebiotics, we need good probiotics, and right, good GI. And of course, we need good fibers as well. And these fibers are the one that is going to be kind of like helping the bowel movement being going down regularly and efficiently and effectively, so that it can pull out all the toxins and the waste outside from your body. All right. So without the fibers, without the good bacteria and all this, and of course without enough water. All right. So I know a lot of you out there, I'm sure some of you out there may not be drinking, still not enough water. Okay. So because I remember when I was starting out on my health journey as well, I remember when I took stock of what I was eating daily and how much I was drinking, I was surprised, or not surprised, to find out that I'm not even barely hitting 1 liter per day. All right. So, and I think that's a prevalent problem in Malaysia nowadays. So I think to be more conscious about having water, and thank you, Terry, for demonstrating such. So yeah, we need to have our tumbler of water in front of us all the time. All right. So I think that's at least the least that we can do to at least encourage ourselves to drink regularly. All right. So having that bottle of water, 1 liter of water bottle, so that you drink at least 2 bottles of that per day. Okay. So, and as also there's evidence that's been showing as well, even by drinking a couple of glasses of water first thing in the morning after you wake up would actually like kickstart your digestive system and your metabolism. Imagine that just by doing that, you can increase your metabolic rate, and then you can consume more calories, right? For those, especially those calories conscious out there, that's a good tip that you can start off with. Okay, so good bacteria is very important. So what else can we do, right? So what can we do, because we only have this one body? All right, so we have this one beautiful body of ours, and how do we make sure that our organs and all these detoxing organs are behaving optimally and beautifully, and doing the things that you're supposed to do, and excreting all these toxins from our body every single day? So we need to maintain and service it regularly. All right, so first and foremost, we need to make sure that we are not adding more stress into it. All right, so if we add too much of these bad stuff, especially the foods that are laden and heavy with sugars, heavy with oils, and heavy with salts, we're going to add a lot of stress into the body, a lot of stress to these organs, and then it's not going to be able to function properly. All right, so these are, I'm sure a lot of us loves these food. I mean, I'm no stranger as well. I love these foods, loved with the ed. Yeah, so I'm trying to avoid as much as possible. All right, so it is tempting, but we do, I mean once in a while. So we need to also define once in a while, right? So once in a while is once per day is not enough. Okay, once per week maybe also not enough, but you gradually do it like once a month or once a year. That would be ideal. Like your birthday, fine, birthday, do it. All right, at the other time of the year maybe not. Okay, so you want to be pick and choosy so that it becomes a real treat in the end. So do save these kind of things, heavy stuff, for really special occasions. But normally we want to eat very clean, very healthily, and we want to try to minimize all these SOS, we call it. Okay, so we want to avoid the sugars, the oils, and the salts, the SOS. All right. And of course, we want to avoid and reduce as much as possible all these ultra processed foods. Okay, nowadays is very, Malaysia is heaven. I think I found a YouTube one a while ago where they showed this American, I'm not sure if Asian American or something, but basically, you know what they sold on Amazon? They were selling Malaysian jajan. They were they were taking the Malaysian snacks, selling it to the US. You imagine, they sell the super ring here ringgit, right? They sell it there for $2. Imagine the profit margin. Good or not? Okay lah. So that's a business model if you want it, but not the most healthiest way to go about it. But but why is this important? Because all these ultra processed foods are high in sugars, they're high in salt, and they're also high with all these additives, especially with MSG and other of these super additives, which are chemicals. They're unnatural and they do a lot of damaging things to our body. Okay, and I don't have the time to go into the details of it. If you want to find out more, maybe we can do another session of these toxins in your body. So but definitely these ultra processed foods, even normal processed foods like the 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 innocent looking cereals, the innocent looking chocolate milk and all this, right? So even all this can be considered as processed foods, which if we consume it long term and regularly, it will be damaging to our body. So that's something to think about as well. All right. And I think to remove another level of toxicity from our body, we want to remove as many as risk factors. And one of the things that has been published in scientific papers everywhere, but no one's been talking about it much. So this is actually, even the World Health Organization acknowledges this. All right, where it's been shown, it's been proven that processed meats, especially processed meats, because they're normally high in sodium, high in fats, all right, and high in cholesterol, the sausage, the bacons, the burger patties, and so forth, the nuggets, all these are carcinogenic. They are they increase your risk of cancer by a lot. I don't know the exact numbers, but you can read it here and you can find out more, do research on it, but try as much as you can, try to avoid it altogether. All right. If you can eliminate it, even better. So definitely, if you're parents out there with children, it will be the last thing on our wish list to give, to throw parties for our children. Definitely nuggets is not the first thing that we should go for. All right. Go for fruits, maybe go for jelly at least. All right. Jelly, sugar-free jelly if possible. I mean, the more fruity type of things is all fine, right? But try to avoid from all these things, barbecue stuff. Barbecuing adds another level of toxicity. It has all the those hangit, the black stuff. Yeah, it may taste nice in getting that smokiness and that barbecue taste and texture to the foods, but it is also carcinogenic in our body when taken in large quantities as well. So if you want to reduce your risk of cancer, your risk of heart disease and all these other cancers, then definitely you want to avoid and reduce it. And as you can see here as well, even in the paper, they also shown that beef, lamb and pork and all these other animal proteins are level 2 carcinogenic, because they can probably have the effect of actually also aggravating or inducing cancer as well. Okay, so it's not conclusive, but it's very much there, the probability. So I mean, like what our family does is basically avoid it altogether. So apa ni, as the Malays would say, kalau was-was tu jauhi lah. Okay, so we just avoid it altogether. All right, so yeah, if you can do that, that would be great. Okay, so very important as well for a good digestive system is the fiber, very important. And I want to highlight this in particular because in case you're not the type that eats a lot of plants or a lot of fruit and vegetables, then definitely you will be devoid of fiber. Okay, if all that you eat is rice and chicken and ketchup, then definitely you won't have enough fiber in your diet. Okay, especially if you only take white rice. If you take brown rice, at least has something lah. All right, but if you don't take any multi-grains or like kacang dal or kacang kuda or the stuff like that, then you'll be void of all these fibers. Because beef, chicken, eggs, milk, and all this don't have any fibers. All right, if they do have fibers in the product, that means they added the fiber. Okay, so they naturally don't have fiber. So where do you get fiber? Fiber is only available in plant sources, be it sayur ke, buah ke, the greens, any fruits, any grains, okay, the whole grains, all right, the legumes like soy, kidney beans, nuts and seeds and all that all have fiber, okay, very important because it fuels the bacteria, the good bacteria, and the more good bacteria in your body, actually it gives a lot of other benefits as well. It will increase your immune system. It will help with your hormones and mood. It will also help with making sure that your gut microbiome is efficient and effective, and also helps to remove the waste along the way as well. So, okay, so very important to have enough fiber in your body. So what should we do more? Definitely is to increase our fruit and vegetable intake, all right, and to try to diversify as much as possible. Not to say that you need to do it every single day to have all these 5 colors. If you could, that would be great. That would be much better. But if throughout the week, you want to have a variety of these colors on your plate every single day. So you have the red kind of group, you have the orange kind of group, you have the darkish and purple bluish kind of group, and then you have of course all the greens and all that, and all the other white stuff, the other brighter colors and all that. So the variety, because all these varieties, all these fruit and vegetables have different enzymes, they have different phytonutrients and antioxidants that work in combination, and that's what will help the bodily function overall in a body to behave optimally and perform well. Okay. All right, so I'd like to remind everyone as well, and we support KKM's initiative of Suku Suku Separuh because it's very easy to understand and remember, where half of your plate should be fruits and veggies anyway, all right, half of your plate. The nasi should not be more than half. So the fruit and veggies should be more than half of your plate, all right? Well, the grains, yes, you should still have grains. I'm not saying you should not have any rice at all, but you limit it to a quarter of the plate. So we recommend, of course, whole grains, so more of the brown rice, basmati rice, whole grain breads, multi-grain breads, and all that, right? You try to avoid the ones on the plastic in the grocery store breads, because normally they would have a lot of other additives. The baker's bread are best because they have the least ingredients. Actually, if you leave it out on the kitchen, they will only last 3 days because they have no preservatives. Okay, so those are the kind of breads you want to go for. They have least little preservatives, if any. So if you want to make them last longer, you keep it in the fridge, or you make your own breads. Okay, so ask your friend how you can make your own breads, because I believe they have some gadgets to do that easily for you at home. All right. So, and of course, if you want a choice of protein, we would suggest more of a plant-based source of protein, like tofu, tempeh, kacang, kidney beans, edamame, kacang kuda, and all this. All these are good plant sources of protein. Okay. So that's and you can make it fun. All right. Nowadays, we're in Malaysia, we're the melting pot of food, right? So, and you can still have all these foods at a plant-based source, not necessarily beef or chicken or not. You have plant-based sauces. You have the Korean version. Okay, if you want without egg, you can always request the guy vegetarian bibimbap without the egg. Okay, and you have the gado gado. You have even vegetarian style satays, kebabs, and all that. And even the Subway also have the veggie delight, right? Or veggie deluxe now, which add with mushroom. Those are the simple ones that you can get out there. Of course, in the very humble mamak stores, you have the banana leaf rice. You minta the veg version, so you can avoid any more of the animal proteins as well. And so there's a lot of other varieties. There's Japanese, there's Thai style, Vietnamese style, and so forth, right? Okay. All right, so if you want the extra boost, if you, so let's say you really can't take too much vegetables or fruits for whatever reason, be it economical reason, or maybe that you just don't like the taste, or you can't get good sources of it, or you just don't know where to start and don't know how to cook or whatever, then maybe supplements would be your best bet into ensuring that you get the right nutrients and to close that nutritional gap, because we not only want to increase the good nutrients, but we also want to overpower our body with and flush our toxins with high nutritious foods and supplements. All right. So, but as Dr. Bolsowitz would say, we cannot over supplement lah. All right. But if you can change your diet, that would be the best. All right. Make a clean, healthy diet change. That would be the best. Check with your friend how to do that. But if you really can't, then definitely supplementation you would need as well. Okay, so these are some of the supplements we would recommend, especially for those who are looking into increasing your detoxification process. All right, because why? Because when you don't have, when you have a high toxicity, toxic body, then you have all the other complications of it. Maybe some of you have eczema or skin allergy problems. You may have breakouts all the time. May even have lethargy and really fatigue all the time and not being able to, the energy levels are always low and so forth. It can be, all these are signs of high toxins in your body. All right. So milk thistle and dandelion is a very traditional herbal remedy, and it's available in the Neutralite range. And this is a brand that me and my family have been consuming for the past 15 over years. And we trust this brand. This brand has been around for more than 80 years using organic components. And do get more information from your friend what this brand is all about. And but this current particular one actually is very targeted, especially to help with the liver, as we shown earlier, how to increase the detoxification process of the liver. Milk thistle and dandelion is very key and powerful into enabling that, because it has the very high anti-inflammatory functions and antioxidant functions as well, and to help with the bile production, which is very important to remove the toxin waste from our body. All right, so very important, this milk thistle and dandelion. Okay, next, of course, to increase and to increase the that biodiversity of your gut flora inside your body. Probiotics, prebiotics are all very important as well. So if you have digestive issues, if you always feel bloated all the time, if you always maybe have falling sick all the time, having rashes all the time and all this, these are signs of improper digestion, even irregular bowel movement. So you want to find some maybe probiotics and prebiotics to help you along the way. All right. So of course, the diet change is also very important, but this can also speed up the process as well. So in Neutralite, we have this probiotic that has about 6 billion good bacteria. And one of the key technology it has is that the bacteria won't be used until it gets into your digestive tract. Okay, so it will go all the way to your digestive system, especially in the intestinal areas. Then only it's released and help to colonize good bacteria in your gut microbiome. Okay, similarly, there's a kids variety. So it's also included with zinc and vitamin D and vitamin C to increase the efficacy, especially in children. And it's made into a slightly sweet cherry kind of flavor using a natural flavoring to encourage them to take it. And it's very safe to take. Okay. All right. And for convenience in taking fiber, of course, fiber from plants, fruit and vegetables is the best source But in case you're not able to do that or not able to increase your fruit and veggie intake dramatically, then definitely a fiber supplement would help you as well. There are two forms of it in the Neutralite range nowadays. There's the tablet form and the mixed fiber sachet. One of them actually has both prebiotic and probiotics. The other fiber, the other one is just soluble fiber. All right, so either one is good for you. The big one, if you're going to take the tablet form, definitely you need to chew it. Don't pelan, so it's too big to swallow. But I have had friends trying it just to swallow, but because I forgot to tell them to chew it. So please make sure to chew it. And it has both insoluble and soluble fiber. The mixed fiber sachet only has the soluble fiber. All right. So get more information from the friend that I brought you here if you're not sure about that. Okay. So another final one that I just wanted to highlight here is that we want to give a lot of good nutrients in our body. Of course, increasing your fruit and vegetables in all the right quantities, at least 5 to 9 servings a day, and all the different color food groups is very important. But if you know that it's going to be next to impossible for you, especially if you're working and hard to get the right healthy foods around you and all that, then definitely you want to consider to get a very good and powerful multivitamin, especially like double X here, which is high in 12 vitamins, 9 minerals, and 17 plant concentrates. That means it has at least 17 different types of plants inside to provide all the phytonutrients, antioxidants, and all that, and ensures that all your bases are covered. All right. So, and to hypernourish yourself will help you to also flush out all the toxins in your body and help to detox on a cellular level. All right. So the more good stuff that we put in our body, it will kind of eliminate the bad stuff. I couldn't do the demo right now, but imagine you have a cup of water. All right. Imagine if you had the cup of water, even if you have a cup of Coke, right? Imagine if you have a cup of Coke, right? And you put it under a faucet and you just let the water running, right? The faucet is clear water, right? What will happen to the cup of Coke? If you keep filling it in, eventually it will become clear as well. So that's what we're doing when we are hyper nourishing ourselves. And we can do that with other methods as well. You can do it with the juice detox, for example, like especially green juice detox, okay? Because you're loading yourself up with lots of green goodness. And what this juice detoxes does, the green juice or the fruit juices as well, is actually overloading with vitamins and plant concentrates. It's a similar concept, but in a juice form. All right, what we're doing here in Neutralite is it's a tablet form, and for most of us, it's more convenient and so forth. So whichever way that you do is good for you. And do consider as well these other things that will help with your lungs, help with your kidneys. All right, good air environment is very important. All right, so do check with your friend what this means and what kind of water treatment system is good to ensure that you are removing all the bad stuff and maintaining the good stuff in the water. All right, so as a summary, so we need to take care of our detoxing organs, our liver, our kidneys, our digestive system, our skin, our lungs as well, so that we can perform optimally and ultimately we can live a good, healthy life. And with that, thank you very much. And I pass it over back to Terry for any Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Faisal. Yes. So we have time, a little bit of time for questions. Faisal, maybe you want to remove your
Sure.
slide. Yeah. Yes. So we have time for maybe a couple of questions. But I just wanted to say that a couple of things that struck me today. What you say, we often think of detox as a one-time process. Like, every few months you must detox. I mean, this is what I've heard anyway, But what you're telling us is detox is an everyday regular process, and we detox by the food that we eat, by the nutrient we put in our body, by the water, by enough fiber. And that's kind of an interesting mindset, right? Because most people think of detox as a system they do every couple of months. Yeah. The other thing is the concept of detox on a cellular level. Because I've seen detox programs, then they drink something, and after that come out from their pool, and then they say, "Oh, you see, my body is already detoxed." But actually, I don't know what that is, but like that's not the detox we're talking about, right? Because if you want to detox toxins and stuff that's in our body, it really has to detox at a cellular level. And that's what you're suggesting to us that we need to be doing. The first slide you showed was also really interesting because you said that detox require nutrients. Certain nutrients help the detox process, like B, phase 1 of the liver. Now that's kind of, for me, it's very new. I didn't realize that nutrients actually help us in getting rid of stuff in our body that is harmful to us. Apart from, like milk thistle and liver, I had no idea that the other ones do that. So thank you. That was, for me, very enlightening. So I'm just going to start. If you've got questions, please put it in the chat box. I see one question there, but before that, my first question to you is, how do we know that we are full of toxins? How do we know like we are sick or what? We can tell fever, this, that. How do we know that we have got toxins in our body?
Okay, so that's a very tricky question, Terry. I think there will be a lot of different answers to that. But if you Google it or you visit a doctor or even a wellness doctor, they'll talk about these some of the telltale signs lah. So the more obvious ones would be like skin breakouts, skin allergies, um, inexplainable rashes, right? These are signs of, or even eczema to some extent can be attributed to these toxins. And that's what we found out that's happening with our eldest son in the beginning. So when he had these like eczema kind of things between his elbows and knee area. So we found that the toxins from the seafood intake and from other sources was causing some imbalance in the body. All right, it may not be directly causing it directly to the skin, but what's happening is it causes a unnatural state in the body. All right, so our body is very complex. Right? It's not like you do this will happen immediately, right? So it is a cause and effect kind of thing. There's a domino effect. It's very complex to explain in one sitting. I remember in one session before when we were sitting down with a wellness practitioner. He's a medical doctor, but is very well versed in nutrition and alternative therapies. And we were in a session, and after we were done, we were like, oh, 4 hours have passed on. So it does take a while to really run through all these concepts and all that. But if you are keen to know more, definitely need to go through some of the studies, some of what you would need to understand a little bit of the physiological functions of our body to see this. Another very interesting sign of high toxicity is also actually unexplained fatigue. Even if you feel that you have some cognitive function reactions like forgetfulness even, all right. I had once I have a history of bad dental issues, all right, but one of it was so I found out later that this can be I'm not sure even 100%, but it can be the amalgam or the mercury used before in our dental procedures and fillings and so forth, maybe contributing to some toxicity in our bodily function. So there can be a variety of factors. It can be physical, but most of the time you won't be able to even see it until much later in life. And even then, doctors still have a hard time to pinpoint it to that particular thing. All right. So this is where, if you watch Dr. House, right, one of my favorite shows, internal medicine, you need to have these kind of specialists who knows the gambit of all your body functions and try to attribute it to environmental factors and whatnot. But yeah, it's very hard to say. But if you know that they have this little thing and you suspect it, you need to trace it down to all your food dietary habits. You need to see your environment. So there's a lot of factors that we need to consider when we talk about toxicity.
So we just have to assume that there is toxins, and that's not a difficult assumption, just based on what you've shown us about what's in the food that we eat, right? So
yeah,
that's a fair assumption.
On that, a quick note also, there are some tests, I think blood tests, but they're much pricier. if you want to do to also detect this,
To detect. Okay.
and DNA tests. So whether or not you want to believe it or not is up to you. But there are
Yeah.
those tests out there that takes your hair and tests your
Yeah.
heavy metals in your body and
That's
all
right.
that, and then you can take action from there. All right.
Yeah. Thank you. Shawa's question, how do you get your little ones to eat vegetables? Because they also need to be detox, right?
Yes, exactly. So I guess very good question, Shawaz. I think me and Aina, me and my wife Aina, we were privileged because we started young when they didn't know any better. So that's the best time to start if you can. But I'm assuming your children are more already older and maybe already used to certain foods. So then what we normally advise parents would be just to try to hide these good stuff. Okay, so what you can start with is like smoothies, right? So you hide it in your chocolate protein smoothie. You hide the broccoli and blend it in, or you blend in some spinach inside. Don't put too much to make it green. Still make it chocolatey and nice and sweet. Okay, how you sweeten it is like with bananas or dates and so forth. So that's the smoothie technique. Okay, very easy to do with smoothies. Another technique is like I'm sure if you've heard of cauliflower fried rice. Okay, it's like fried rice, but it's made of cauliflower instead. Okay, so that's another great way to increase the vegetable. Anything stir fried rice ish or fried mee and all that, you can add that extra bit of veggies along the way. All right, and you want to find out the kinds that they won't be picky lah. Okay, at least they will like one or two lah. Start with those and load up with more of those. Let it be peas or carrots. And in the beginning, don't have to be too picky and just follow which one they can take lah and tolerate lah. And we like to start with fruits because fruits are naturally sweet. Okay, and don't worry about fruits being too high in sugar or whatever. When you take it as a whole fruit, because it has all the fibers, it's safe, inshallah. Okay, but if you just take fruit juice, that's a whole nother thing
Yeah.
because you are already eliminating the fibers. But hopefully that helps, Shawa. And
Yeah.
you need pasta sauces is another way. Yeah, so whenever
Okay.
you can hide the veggies, even in lasagna, casseroles, right? So those kind of things, you want to stuff the veggies inside where they cannot see it. Yeah.
And don't mention the word
Yeah, don't
veggie.
mention anything about
Yep.
veggies. You just say, "Oh, it's burger. Oh, it's lasagna." All right. So you have the plant-based burgers nowadays. Actually, the whole patty is made of beans and other vegetables. Right. So you just call it a burger. It tastes like a burger. It looks like a burger, and you want to find those kind of ones. All right. And if
One
you need to
last,
add a little
sorry,
bit of salt, that's fine. Yeah.
one last question, Faisal.
Yeah.
Natalie's question. I'm going to rephrase that question. Is it? Do we have to worry about taking too many supplements? Is that going to be any? Is there any negative effect to
Is it
that?
an issue? Okay. So
Yeah,
yeah,
is
I
there an
think
issue?
I hope you caught my phrase, the quote just now by Dr. Bolsowitz. I mean, you cannot over supplement. I mean, you still need to, the best first and foremost, you need to look at your lifestyle and change that first. All right.
Yeah.
But of course, if you want to take supplements and you want to supplement, if you're going to supplement, make sure it's the most natural kind of supplement out there. All right. You don't want to get the cheapest supplement out there because they will normally have a lot of preservatives, they will have a lot of colorings and use a lot of other chemical stuff in it. All right. You want to get a supplement which has organic ingredients inside. You know exactly what it is inside, and that if you ask the company what it's made of, they can answer you. Those are the kind of supplements that I would go for. Reputable. You want to know that they are very careful of the sourcing their ingredients. That they even, in fact, some of these supplements like the Nutrilite, they grow their own ingredients. So they grow their own organic ingredients from their own farms and all that. So they make sure they take care of the process end to end of the supplement. In those kind of cases, you need to think of the supplement as food in capsule form. That's all it is. All right.
Yeah.
It's not medicine. It's not like pharmaceutical drugs where it's chemically factory produced and manufactured, but this is supplemental form, which should be, it won't add additional stress to your body. It's almost like eating a whole bowl of vegetables and fruits rather than consuming it
Yeah.
manually, so
I
to
like
speak,
that
right?
phrase,
So yeah.
food in a capsule. That's a
Yes,
nice way of
exactly.
putting it.
But of course, check with your doctor. You definitely, if you are going through any medical ailments, do check with your doctor. And but maybe not all doctors understand the role of supplements. So you also may want to get second opinion with some wellness doctors who understand about these nutritional, naturopathic interventions. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what Faisal said. I think if you've come often enough to us, you will know that we do not advocate supplements over lifestyle. Yeah, so it has to go
Yes.
together, and it's never a replacement for eating well and living well. You know, with
Exactly.
exercise and all of
Exactly.
that together. I just wanted to close also with what Faisal's lovely wife Aina put there. Toxins or heavy metals specifically also causes malabsorptions of nutrient. That's a really good point. And therefore, you know, it shows up in so many of the ailments that we might face without realizing that it's got to do with just the environment that we're in. And I think that kind of nicely sums up what Faisal is saying to us. We all are subject to it, and it's not a one-time fix. We need to be constantly eating. There are a few things that Faisal recommends. Drink a lot of water. Easy things, easy fix. A lot of fiber. Yep. That's what Faisal said. A lot of fiber, a lot of water. These are two very, very easy fix. I think that any one of us can go away from today doing, and you know, I'm very sure that we're kind of on our journey. So thank you very much, Faisal, for being here again today. I've learned so much from you, and thank you all for being here. We'll see you again. So I forgot to say just now, I mean, I've repeated it. Those of you who've been coming regularly, you know, I still get, every week, I still get people texting me, hey, today got Health 101. So it is now first and third Wednesday of the month since lockdown lifted and people are going back to work. It's now first and third Wednesday of the month. So we'll see you back in September, first week of September. Thank you all and have a great week and keep safe all. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks again.
Thank you, Terry.
Welcome. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Have a good week ahead. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Faisal. Thank you, Terry. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
See ya.
Thank you, Faisal.
Thank you, MC.
Sama-sama, Kak Saleha. Thank you.